Welcome. Today we will be going over Paper 1 SL for standard learners. Now, for your convenience, we will be working with a sample paper from November 2023. Before we start, let's go over the instructions. Now, this paper is going to be 1 hour and 15 minutes long. The instructions to the candidates read as follows. Do not turn over this examination paper until instructed to do so. Complete one task. The maximum mark for this examination paper is 30 marks. We have the same instructions in French. Now, I am not fluent in French. And we have the same set of instructions in Spanish. And it reads, Instrucciones para los alumnos. No dé la vuelta al examen hasta que se lo autoricen. Realice una de las tareas. La puntuación máxima para esta prueba de examen es 30 puntos. Okay, so now that we have an understanding of the instructions, before we move into the task itself, let's take a look at the evaluation criteria. On this page on the left, we can clearly say that you will be assessed in one of the three components, in this case is language. Now for standard learners, the requirement is a bit different than that of the higher learners. So for the standard learners, we can see that you are still being evaluated in terms of how successfully the candidate command written language, meaning to what extent is vocabulary appropriate and varied, to what extent are the grammatical structures varied, and to what extent does the accuracy of the language contribute to effective communication. So the best scores that you can get, obviously here, is a 10-12 mark band. In order for you to accomplish that, it means that command of the language is mostly accurate and very effective. So what does this mean? It means that although there are minor errors, these errors do not necessarily impact the overall performance of what you communicate. So for example, when it comes to vocabulary is appropriate to the task and varied, including the use of idiomatic expressions. So the fact that you are using a varied vocabulary, right? You're using some sort of fancy words, or perhaps some slangs, or perhaps some idiomatic expressions, such as kill two birds with one stone. This may qualify you for a 10-12 mark band, assuming that everything else is perfect. A variety of basic and more complex grammatical structures is used effectively. This is important because sometimes we want to use grammar in a way that sounds more formal, but we forget to use a variety of grammatical structures. For example, you might be speaking in the active voice when you might not realize that you may also speak in the passive voice. You might have the need to use reported speech or even include the perfect aspect. So the fact that your grammatical structures are varied, it create a huge opportunity for you to score higher. And lastly, language is mostly accurate. Minor errors in more complex grammatical structures do not interfere with communication. So sometimes speakers make a mistake here or there where they might use a grammatical structure that is not completely correct, if you would rather. And that might hinder their communicational skills. What this is telling us is that just as long as you're able to convey the idea clearly with a small mishap, you may still qualify for a 10-12 mark band. Now, the 10-12 mark band, all the way through 1-3 or 1-3 all the way through 10-12, simply mean that you must be within these ranges in order to qualify for the mark band. So let's read a bit more. When it comes to language, it says that not all errors have the same importance, and examiners should bear in mind some errors affect the communication of meaning significantly, and others do not. Also, some errors indicate a fundamental lack of command of the language, while others may simply indicate a moment of forgetfulness. And this is true. Sometimes we forget things, and this is why we don't have the best word to use. When it comes to slips, mistakes at all levels of difficulty but are erratic and occasional. For example, or examples given, the candidate normally forms past tenses well, but occasionally forgets the ed. When it comes to flaws, errors occur more regularly, particularly in certain structures. Examples given, past tenses are formed correctly quite often, but are not really reliable. And there may be a basic confusion, for example, or examples given, past simple versus present perfect. And lastly, gaps. Some structures are rarely correct or simply don't appear. Examples given, the past tenses are needed but do not appear. Okay? Now, when it comes to criterion B, message, which is the second component that you will be evaluated on, is to what extent does the candidate fulfill the task? Okay, how relevant are the ideas to the task? To what extent are the ideas developed? To what extent do the clarity and organization of ideas contribute to successful delivery of the message? Now, for this, we would need to dive deeper into what all this means, and we will need to deconstruct it. Just as we did with language, we tried deconstructing some of these components, and they are deconstructed in a way down here. But if we take a careful look at the level descriptors and the way these descriptors are unpacked, we can see that our mark band, what we want to aim for minimum, is a 7-9. Of course, the goal is to reach 10-12 mark band, but we're looking at 7-9. So in order to do this, the tasks ask us to fulfill the following. Most ideas are relevant to the task. Ideas are developed well with some detail and examples. Ideas are clearly presented and the response is structured in a logical manner, supporting the delivery of the message. So what does this mean? For example, if we take a look at the following, the link between the responses or the response and the task is clear. So there is a link between the response and what you were supposed to do. The reader has a good understanding of the message conveyed. That means that you have a clear understanding of what the message is and you understand it. The response covers all aspects of the task despite losing focus at times. The response uses supporting details and examples to clarify the message. The ideas are organized well. A range of cohesive devices are used appropriately to deliver the message with little or no ambiguity. Okay, so this is what message is asking for the candidate to perform. Now, the mark band for 1012 asks for the candidate to perform in a more thorough structure. Okay, now let's take a look at criterion C. This is the conceptual understanding. This is super important because here the candidate needs to have an understanding of audience, context, purpose, meaning, and variation. Your audience, you need to know who you're writing to. It is important. You can't write to a 10-year-old the same way you would to a 30-year-old. Okay? And the rest of the conceptual understandings are crucial for excellent communication. Criterion C. To what extent does the candidate demonstrate conceptual understanding? To what extent is the choice of the text type appropriate to the task? To what extent are register and tone appropriate to the context, purpose, and audience of the task? And to what extent does the response incorporate the conventions of the chosen text type? So, convention is important as well. A rule has already been established that this is the way this is done. If you deviate from that and do things differently, you will lose marks. Okay? So here you're being graded from 1 to 2 marks all the way through 5, 6 marks. Let's take a look at markings 5 through 6. When it comes to conceptual understanding is fully demonstrated. The choice of the text type is appropriate to the context, purpose, and audience. So this is taking into account context, purpose, and audience. This is the text type, right? We will look at different text types in a moment. You cannot write an email intended for something that is not related to the text type. The register and tone are appropriate to the context, purpose, and audience of the task. And the response fully incorporates the convention of the chosen text type. Okay? So, we are briefly going to take a look at the following. Paper 1 for standard learners on my right asks the following. Complete one task, right? So you have 3 different tasks. You're going to complete one of those. Use an appropriate text type from the options below the task you choose. Write 250 to 400 words. So we already know that this is asking us to choose one task out of the three options given. We also know that we need to choose the correct text type. So notice how we have three different scenarios, and each of the scenarios proposes a different text type. Let's take a look at number one. Number one says, you just graduated from school. You and your friends marked this occasion with a special celebration that was very meaningful to you. You want to record your thoughts about it. Write a text in which you describe the celebration and consider why it meant so much to you. So here, this is giving us a blog as a text type, a diary entry as a text type, and is also giving us a speech. From what we can see, we should use the process of elimination, right? In order for us to use the process of elimination, we should consider that a speech is not the best course of action for us to write our text. In fact, the speech is the last choice that you should use. And to be honest, is not correct at all. You shouldn't be writing a speech about it. The second option that we get from blog and diary is a blog. Whilst you can write a blog about this stimuli, it is still not the best. The best choice for this stimuli is a diary. So a diary entry would be your best choice, right? For this, we can write something simple. For example, we can write something in the lines of the following. Today marks the culmination of years of hard work, endless nights of studying, and countless moments of growth. My graduation day. Yes? My friends and I gathered to celebrate not just the end of high school, but the beginning of a new chapter in our lives. The celebration we organized was simple yet incredibly meaningful, something I know I will hold close to my heart for the rest of my life. We decided to host a small gathering at the park where we used to hang out during breaks. It felt right to return to that familiar place as it represented so many memories of laughter, struggles, and deep conversations about our future. The atmosphere was perfect, warm with a light breeze, the sunset casting a golden glow over everything. We each brought a memento from our high school journey. Some brought notebooks filled with doodled notes. Others brought photos from memorable trips and events. I brought a copy of my final project, a symbol of what the late night efforts I put into finish strong. What made the celebration so special wasn't just the location or the mementos, it was the people. These are the friends who supported me through thick and thin, who shared in my success and failures, and who never stopped believing in me. We spent the evening reflecting on our favorite moments, the challenges we overcame, and the dreams we have for the future. The laughter we shared was infectious, but there were also a few tears as we realized that this chapter of our lives had officially come to an end. This celebration meant so much to me because it wasn't just about the end of school. It was a reminder of the strength of the bonds we created. It was a celebration of friendship, resilience, and the promise of a bright future ahead. I'll carry this moment with me as I step into the next stage of my life, knowing that I am not alone in this journey. So, this is a really nice, simple, and to the point diary. And this is why, for this specific text type or for this task, a diary would have been the best choice. Now, let's quickly take a look at the second option. Let's make some space for another writing. All right, so task two, your local government is planning to build a new road across a park close to your home. You strongly disagree with this plan. Write a text for the local government in which you explain why the park is important to your community and describe some of the negative effects the planned road might have. So you're writing to your local government. That's the first thing that we need to have clear. And you're writing to them because you do not agree with the plans of removing something that is meaningful to the community to create something that might prove to be useful in the future. Remember, governments plan ahead of time. So if a road is going to be planned, we cannot ignore that we need to look into the future, just how advantageous this might be. But since you're writing to your local government, let's look at the text that we have as options. So we have a proposal. If you notice the task, it doesn't indicate that you can give a proposal or that you should propose something instead. What you're writing is to express your discontent, right? Your disagreement. So a proposal is not the best option. That is not the best option. It can be an option, but not the best. Then we have an email. An email is the best option. If you're writing an email, the email creates an opportunity for you to write a formal message to your local government expressing your thoughts. A diary is definitely not it because, as we've did in the previous task, a diary serves as a reflection and you're not looking at reflecting. So your end goal here is to communicate. And since you're communicating, diary is the least best option or the wrong option to choose from. Email is the best option for this specific task. And a proposal is your secondary option, but not the best either. Okay, so let's quickly take a look at what an email might look like for us. Okay, so let's take a quick look at this email. So we have our subject, objection to proposed road, construction across community park, and it reads as follows. Dear local government, okay, dear local government planning committee, I hope this email finds you well. I am writing to express my deep concern regarding the proposed construction of a new road through the park near my home. While I understand the necessity of urban development and improved transportation infrastructure, notice that I want to make a pause here. Remember that a moment ago I highlighted that we need to look into the future. We need to understand that these things are also necessary, whether we like them or not. I strongly believe that building a road across this park will have serious negative consequences for the community and the environment. The park is more than just a patch of green in our neighborhood. It serves as a vital space for community interaction, recreation, and well-being. Families gather here for picnics, children play together, and individuals of all ages use the park for exercise, relaxation, and socializing. It's one of the few areas where people from diverse backgrounds come together, fostering a sense of unity that is rare in other public spaces. In a fast-paced urban environment, this park is a much-needed refuge, offering a break from the noise and chaos of city life. Building a road through this area will significantly disrupt this peaceful sanctuary. Not only would it fragment the park, but the increase in traffic will also bring about higher noise levels and air pollution. This could discourage people from using the park, diminishing its role as a communal gathering spot. Additionally, the road could pose safety risks, especially for children and elderly residents who regularly visit the park. From an environmental perspective, the park plays a crucial role in preserving local biodiversity. The trees, plants, and wildlife that thrive here could be severely affected, leading to a reduction in green spaces that are already limited in our urban landscape. This would not only impact the natural environment, but also contribute to the heat island effect, making our community less livable in the long run. In light of these concerns, I urge the committee to reconsider this plan and explore alternative routes that do not jeopardize the well-being of our park and community. Thank you for taking the time to consider my objection. So, this is a good letter in terms of email structure. It is the best choice when it comes to text type for your local government planning to build a new road across a park. And you are able to communicate your thoughts. It resonates perfectly well and is again the best text type to choose for this task. Lastly, the third task that we have is the following. The local sports center where you volunteer has started a new and fun fitness class. The manager of the sports center has asked you to inform the public about it. Write a text to explain what is new and fun about this fitness class and what benefits people can expect. So, again, just as we've been doing before, we have a speech here. I like to work with the last option first. It's often the way that I like to do things because I like to use the process of elimination. So I use it from the end to the beginning. I often work from the right to the left. So a speech for this, whilst it can be okay, a speech can be okay, but I don't see it to be the best choice. There are other options considering that, of course, we are looking at leaflet and proposal. So a speech, while I can do it, I don't think is the best choice. A proposal. This is definitely not the best option. So if we separate a proposal if we eliminate a proposal and stay with speech and leaflet, which of the two is more convenient for me to write my paper on? Well, I already said that a speech is plausible, whilst I can do a speech is not necessarily the best. A proposal is definitely not my best choice. So I need to consider that this is not my best choice. Okay? Then, since that is not my best choice, that leaves me up to leaflet. Now, it is important for you to understand that there are several text types that you need to learn throughout the process of English B in the 2-year course for the diploma program. So a leaflet takes on an advertisement structure. Therefore, since the task is telling me that the manager of the sports center has asked you to inform the public about it, write a text to explain what is new and fun. If I am explaining what is new and fun, then I should look into a way of promoting it. And that's the reason why a leaflet would be considered the best option here. So let's take a quick look at what the leaflet might look like. Okay. Okay, just give me one moment. Okay, so for a leaflet, we can go with something with the following information. Okay, so we have our heading, our title. Join our new and fun fitness class. Energize your body and mind. Looking for a new way to stay fit and have fun? The local sports center is excited to introduce our new dynamic fitness class designed for all fitness levels and guaranteed to keep you moving, smiling, and energized. What's new and exciting? High energy music. Get pumped with upbeat music that keeps you motivated and help you through each workout. Mix of activities. Each class combines cardio, strength training, and flexibility exercises from dancing to light weight. I'm sorry, to from dancing to lightweight lifting and stretching. You will never get bored. Group challenges. Enjoy friendly competitions and group activities that make working out feel like a game, all while building community spirit. Fun for everyone. Whether you're just starting or a fitness enthusiast, our instructors tailor exercises to meet your needs. It's all about having fun while staying active. Why you should join? Boost your energy, say goodbye to sluggishness, and hello to a more energetic you. Our fun routines will leave you feeling refreshed and ready to tackle your day. Improve overall fitness from burning calories to building muscle. This class covers all aspects of fitness. You will feel stronger, more flexible, and more toned. Reduce stress. Exercise is a proven way to relieve stress, and with our upbeat atmosphere, you'll forget about your worries and enjoy the moment. Meet new friends. Working out in a group is not only motivating, but also a great way to connect with like minded people in your community. Class details. You can start Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. Where? Local sports center, main hall. The duration is 1 hour. The cost is free for members and $5 per class for non members. So join us and experience the fitness like no other. For more information, visit the Sports Center or call 555 123 4567. Don't miss out on the fun. Get fit, feel great, and have a blast. All right. So, again, I strongly suggest that you become familiar with the text types, become familiar with the requirements, and most importantly, become familiar with conceptual understanding, audience, context, purpose, meaning, and variation. They play a significant role in scoring higher. Thank you, and until the next one. Bye.